Okay, and we're live here in class period 6. This is 6, right? We are on page 102, task number 16, and we are solving using the any method. Have you heard of the any method? Ha 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 ha. Gosh, tough crowd, I tell you. Okay, so you tell me, how would you solve this equation? I know it's been a while, but this is what kind of an equation is this?
Algebraic.
It is algebraic, you are correct. Can I get a little bit more? Yes. PEMDAS. We would do reverse PEMDAS, but what kind of an equation is that? Linear, yes, because the x is to the first power. So this is a linear equation, and we are solving for x. So I'm going to go right to our in-studio audience and say, how would you solve for x? What would you do here for this problem to solve for x? Subtract 7. Survey says, what do you think? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, you don't know, or thumbs down? Thumbs up, yes. Subtract 7. Subtract 7. This is an equation. Whatever you do to one side of the equal sign, you need to do to the other. So 7's cancel out. 3x is equal to how much? Negative 2. And you're like, mon Dieu, what's happening? We're solving for x. We want to try to isolate x, get it by itself. So what will I do next? Divide by 3. Divide by 3. If you do it on one side, you have to do it on the other. The 3's simplify out, and I get x equals negative 2/3. Okay? So that seems to be my answer. What did we find? What does that mean to solve something? Okay, we have a solution. What does it mean to be a solution? I mean, you guys know how to solve a linear equation, but what does that actually mean? Means if you substitute a number in place of x, this number will make that equation true. Okay? It makes it true. All right? Any questions about number 1? Don't get so excited because that's not what we're really working on, but we're building you up, okay? Building confidence. All right, so let's go to number 2. Solve using any method you choose. Now, what is different about this equation from the first one?
Is 3x squared?
Yes, we have an x squared. So what do we call that? What kind of an equation is that? It is a quadratic equation. I know you're thinking quadratic sounds like 4, but it is not. So a quadratic equation. So what would I need to do here? We're all going back to the studio audience again. What would I need to do here to solve this quadratic equation? This is part of what was on your last test, the one you took right before spring break. So those of you that did not do as well, try to pay some attention here. All right, so how would I start to solve this? Okay, Xbox method. Would I just go right here and say A equals B equals C equals?
No.
What should I do? Yes, we need to set it equal to 0. Set it equal to 0. And so I would subtract 7. Whatever you do on one side, you have to do on the other. 7's cancel out. I get 0 over here. And on the left, I get 3x squared. So then I have minus 5 minus 7, which gives me what? Minus 12, negative 12 equals 0. Everybody see how we set it equal to 0? Okay, now what? We're like, that is a beautiful equation. Are we done? No, we're not done. We're trying to solve for x. It's quadratic. How many solutions are we going to have? Should have 2. So keep that in mind also. What do we always do first when you're trying to solve a quadratic equation? Look for a GCF. Do I have a GCF here? Something that is divisible into both 3x squared and negative 12. 3, yes. So you can either say divided by 3, and then that 3 pops out front. And 3x squared divided by 3 leaves me with x squared minus 4 equals 0. Okay? So at this point, whoops. Oh yeah, I was like, is that 4 to the 3rd power? No, that's dividing by 3. At this point, we're saying, okay, 3 times something equals 0. Well, we know 3 does not equal 0. So we'll just let them hang over there at the side. How do I factor this x squared minus 4? This is a special kind of factoring that you may or may not recall. Does anybody recall? This is my favorite type of factoring. It's called, oh, I didn't want that color. A difference of 2 squares. Does anybody remember hearing that before? Now that I said that? Difference of 2 perfect squares. So what we're saying is x squared is a perfect square and 4 is a perfect square, and difference means we are subtracting them in between. So if you know the shortcut, and that's what this is, a shortcut, if you have a squared minus b squared, you're going to get quantity a plus b times a minus b. So it's the square root of the first term plus the square root of the second term times square root of first term minus square root of the second. You guys remember that at all? No? Wow. Okay. So in this case, using x squared and 4, it would be x plus 2 times x minus 2 equals 0. Now, if we were talking about factored form, yes, I'd have to fill in that 3 out front. But now I'm saying 3 times this term equals 0. Well, we don't know which one might be 0 at what time, so I need to set both of those equal to 0. There's my first term equal to 0. Here's my second term equal to 0. Solve. And we get x is equal to negative 2. And x is equal to positive 2. So those are my solutions for x for this equation. So if I wanted to check, I could substitute those back in and say negative 2 squared is going to be 4. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 minus 5 is 7. Same for the positive 2. Okay? If you did not know the shortcut and you had x squared minus 4, you can use a regular x box and say a is equal to 1. There is no x term. You could say b is equal to 0 and c is equal to negative 4. a times c at the top would be -4. This would be 0, and you would get 2 and -2. And then you would do your box, okay? And you would say x squared is in the first one, -4 is in the second, and you would say 2x and -2x here, and that's where you're going to get x minus 2 as a factor and x plus 2. So either way, if you remember the difference of two squares, that's very helpful. And if you don't, you can use Xbox method, either one. Any questions about number 2? All right, we're doing great. Let's go on to number 3. Solve using any method you choose. Okay, what should I always, it's already said equal to 0. It's what kind of an equation? Quadratic equation. There's going to be 2 solutions. What would you recommend we do here? Okay, let's try the Xbox method. So I'm going to say A is equal to, what is my A value? 1. My B value is 42, and C is -9. So, hey, we need everybody to contribute, right? So A times C goes at the top of the X. B goes at the bottom. So 1 times -9 is -9. B is 42. So what does this mean? I need factors of -9 that add up to 42. It's not looking good, is it? Because we have 1 and 9. We have 3 and 3. Nothing of those, whether they're positive or negative, is going to add up to 42. So now what? Quadratic formula. Everybody's favorite. Yes. You're like, what? The quadratic formula. Does anybody remember it? Anybody? You want to start out? Like, no. Anybody? Not just B. X equals the opposite of B. Then what? Plus or minus. Square root. No. B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. Yes. Okay. So X is equal to, my B value is 42. The opposite is going to be -42 plus or minus the square root of 42 squared minus 4 times A, which is 1, times C, which is -9. All divided by 2 times A, which is 1. Okay, so then we need our calculators. Calculators. I am going to show you, if I can, what this looks like on a calculator. And I don't have this uploaded on my iPad yet. So let's see if I can do this. Where's my cursor? So here we go. I got it started. On your calculator, you are going to take -42, and we can only do We can't do plus or minus at the same time. So I'm going to start with plus. Square root is second x squared. And then b squared, I'm going to say parenthesis 42 n parenthesis squared minus 4 times parenthesis a, which is 1, times parenthesis c, which is negative 9, n parenthesis, all divided by, oh, wait. Oh, you know what I forgot to do first? Back. I forgot to hit the fraction button at the very beginning. But I'm going to hit enter here. Oh, and get a syntax error. Great. All right, let's try this again. Clear. Start with the fraction. So the top part of the fraction, let's try this again. Negative 42 plus square root, second square root of parentheses 42 n parentheses squared minus 4 times parentheses 1 times parentheses negative 9 n parentheses. Then click the denominator button. Come on. No? Okay, so it's not working so well for me. Did anybody get an answer? Yes, it is 0.21. 0.21 something. So we get x equals So we get x equals 0.21, okay? And then I need to go the second time with the subtraction. All right, I'm going to try this one more time. Be patient. End this live stream. So, fraction button, top. So I say opposite of 42. This time minus square root of parenthesis 42 n parenthesis squared minus 4 times parenthesis a, which is 1, times parenthesis c, which is negative 9, n parenthesis. Why isn't that jumping down? This arrow? Ah, okay. Thank you. That's probably what I should have done the last time, huh? 2 times parenthesis 1 and parenthesis enter. So when I do the subtraction, I'm going to get x equals negative 42.21. So here are my two answers. X equals 0.21 and x equals negative 42.21. So you have to be extremely careful putting it on your calculator. More careful than I was. Or just have someone to help you like Jamel did. Thank you, Jamel. All right, now let's go to the last problem. It says, work with a partner to solve number 4. Ask questions. If you have trouble. Okay, so number 4 is another quadratic equation. And remember, what do we always ask ourselves to check first with quadratic equations? It's okay, you can say it. Greatest common factor. Look to see, do you have a greatest common factor first? All right, so you can work with a partner. You can tough it out and work on your own. See if you can do that last problem. Mr. Wide, come on, let's do the last one. Okay. That's what I thought. So while you're working on that, I will write it down and see if you get the same kind of numbers in the right spots. So we have 3x squared. Everybody should be trying to work the problem. Well, what are you finding out? Is Xbox going to work? No, it's not. There are not factors of -2 that are going to add up to 5. So what are we probably going to have to use? Quadratic formula. Who needs some help? Help, hint, or suggestion? So if Xbox doesn't work, you're gonna have to go to quadratic formula most of the time. Enter that in carefully. Do you need carefully? Do you carefully? All right, so As you're doing some calculations, I'm going to calculate too. Make sure you hit that fraction button at the very front since you've got numerator stuff and denominator stuff. That's going to make it helpful. Okay. So, need to clear this. There we go. All right, does anybody want to offer up one of their answers? -2 and +4? Okay. Anybody else get -2 and +4? I did not get those either. -2, +4. Anybody else get something? What'd you get? 0.37. And did you get a second one? No? Well, let me take a look. 4 times 1 times -2. Let me hit enter and see what this comes up with. Oh, I did get 0.37 there. That is not what I had for the first time though. 5 squared minus, let's see, can I go up? No. Anybody else get an answer? 5 squared minus 4 times A times C, -2. 25 plus 8 is 33. -5 plus 33 divided by 2. I don't have a calculator back here. -5, 5 negative, plus square root, oh, this isn't the yellow one, 5 negative plus square root, why doesn't it like that? Plus 33 square root equals divided by 2. Yep, I got 0.37 still. Okay. That's really weird. All right, that is for the positive. So it should be 0.37 for the first one. And if I do the second one, so it's going to be opposite of 5 minus square root 5 squared minus 4 times A, which is 1, times C, which is -2. Oh, crap it, I forgot. If I hit enter. Okay. Divided by 2. Enter that. And the second value should be -5.37. So x equals 0.37 and -5.37. There are the two values. So if you did not get those, that means you might have made some small error in putting your numbers together. Okay? So x equals 0.37, x equals -5.37. Did anybody get those? You got the first one, I know. Did you try it again or not? No? Okay. All right. So there is homework tonight. And that is going to be, actually it's topic 6B. This is homework number 5. Because it's continuing on kind of from before. Homework 5. And I want you to turn to page 104. 104. So 104 in the book is the problem for this page. And it says you have x squared equals quantity 2x minus 9, that quantity squared. It says solve this quadratic equation using as many different methods as possible. Okay? So use page 104 in your book to do the work and then take a picture and upload it to the computer on Canvas. Okay? And I will tell you, there should be 3 different methods, 3 different ways you could solve it. So keep that in mind, okay? There should be 3 different methods. Maybe you can only come up with 1. Maybe you can come up with 2. But the most there are is 3. Okay? All right. So that's all I have for today. If you want to start looking at that quadratic equation, see how to solve it, and then take a picture and upload it, that will work. Try to get this done before tomorrow. Okay? All right.
How do you solve it? I'm not sure.
That is one way. Now you have to think, if this is a quadratic, there's going to be a second answer. So when you take the square root, it is the positive and the negative. So x is equal to this as the positive, and x is going to be equal to this as the negative of that whole thing. Okay, so when you take a square root, usually the square root means we only take the positive. But with quadratics, when it's set up like this, you have to look at the positive and the negative. So you took x equals the positive value of this, which is right. Over here, you need to say x is equal to the negative of this 2x minus 9 in parentheses,
All right.
which will be a little bit different. But make sure you put the negative in front of the parentheses so the negative carries. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.